A number was dropped for the Leafs' Auston Matthews today. 2 games. Do you have a problem with it?
No, not at all. That's pretty standard here, and people were wondering, would he get preferential treatment? Would he have gotten the I've never been in trouble before? No, that's just a standard cross-check. The last 3 or 4 years, it's been a 2-gamer, no question about it. And you know, when you see the kind of the healthy run that Cousins took at him at the end of the game at center ice, better 2 games off a suspension than a separated shoulder or concussion. I didn't like the run that Cousins had at the end of this outdoor game, but I think all said and done, maybe 2 games is actually a good thing for the Leafs. You know, maybe not good for chasing a record for goals, but let's see what the rest of the team does without a guy that's been really carrying the team on his back along with Marner. Outside of those 2, a lot of underachieving going on right now in that lineup.
It's interesting because I want to get to that. Obviously, the 36 goals in 37 games, they're going to miss the dude that has put up those 36 goals in 37 games. But Jesse and I were talking in the commercial break how we're both kind of old school guys who enjoy the rough stuff in the game of hockey. Kenny Reed always comes in here every Wednesday talking about old-time hockey. And part of me was happy that Matthews stood up for himself like that. But the other part of me was, and I've been saying this all along, like, it's great to have Wayne Simmons in your lineup, but if you have to play him on the 4th line, like, is there concern in the Leafs lineup that he had to do that for himself and then, at the end of the game, got run by Dylan Cousins?
Yeah, with no Simmons on the ice, on the bench. And I put that on Sheldon Keefe. Why? It's 5-2.
Right.
First of all, if he's going to be out there at 5-2, why? To get the next goal? To get closer to a record? Like, there's only 90 seconds left. Matthews shouldn't have been out there to begin with, but if you're going to have him out there, have Wayne Simmons beside him, not Kasha or Bunting.
Right. So, they would argue that they're trying to get a goal, maybe make it interesting.
No. Right. It's 5-2, and there's 90 seconds to go. There's nothing that suggests that you think you're still in the game. That put him at risk for a concussion or separated shoulder when he bobbled the puck in the neutral zone. That Sheldon should have protected him better than that.
So, I mean, listen, there's a lot of question marks surrounding this team right now, and I do say, like, context is important. Here's the hit by Cousins on Matthews, and that was because of the cross-check to the head of Dahlin. And what you're saying is Buffalo didn't like it. You knew someone might take a run at him.
Yes.
At least have Simmons on there to say, like, if you're going to go at him, you're going to have to go through me.
100%.
Right.
But, you know, this goes kind of like to the overall philosophy that they never built a 4th line with that mentality. You know, when you see a Spets on it with a Simmons, it's, yes, they may play anywhere between 7 and 10 minutes, but we're going to play a consistent structure and game, and they want that 4th line to contribute more offense than they would having a physical element. Just look at the way it's built, and look at the way they take chances still in the offensive zone instead of playing a real safe kind of dump and chase energy kind of Kyle Clifford. And you re-signed him to a new 2-year deal, but he's not your first thought of having that type of style and play. So it gets a little conflicting sometimes when you look at that lineup and you say, okay, you know, Simmons didn't do what probably people expected to in that game, but you didn't even put him in a position to do it.
Wasn't their ace,
So they want to win with skill. They want to beat you on the scoreboard. And that's great because that's the most important thing. But when you're not beating them on the scoreboard, you can still beat them in other ways. And right now, they're a one-dimensional team, high skill, and they want to outscore their mistakes, and that's not a recipe for success in the playoffs.
Or you can try and send a message to the other team that you can't do it the other way. Like, you're not going to intimidate us. You're not going to run our best players.
They've not been. That's not Kyle Dubas. No.
So there's the shot of, we just showed it, Dubas kind of walking away, Brendan Shanahan standing beside him, and it kind of encapsulated what Leaf fans thought in the moment, where, you know, there was a lot of people ripping on Dubas and the team that he's built here. Do you think that this has changed, this little stretch here, they're playing down to their opponents again, could it have changed their outlook on what they do at the deadline and maybe more specifically the goaltending?
Yeah, I think it's too late for that. to change your feelings, and especially with not so much what your philosophy is, but what's even available out there. How much help is out there for the pickings? And right now, I don't see it. We hear a lot of names, but it's not reality that the Leafs are going to shore up a goaltender, 1 or 2 D, and a left winger for Tavares and Nylander. You're just going to have to go back originally, prioritize what the most important thing. It's the blue line. It always has been and will be, is the blue line. If they're lucky to pluck 1, maybe 2 guys, and then that's it, then it is what it is. But you don't have a wish list of 4 or 5 different things and you're going to hit 4 of them or 3 of them. Yeah. Be lucky if you hit 1 of them by this time next Monday.
I don't know if it's great minds think alike or fools seldom differ, but I've been saying the same thing. Like, you're going to get Marc-Andre Fleury in here to play the end of the season. That's the only guy that can make a difference, and I don't know how you make it work.
My understanding is he kind of shut down Canada, which meant Edmonton and Toronto.
Oh, yeah?
Is there a chance that he would change his mind or revisit it this week? Always the possibility, but this is also a guy that's not chasing a Stanley Cup. He's got 3 of them already. He's not Claude Giroux. Claude Giroux has to pick very carefully here,
right?
With a no-move clause in his contract. If Fleury said, "I'm not going anywhere, and I'll think about my future in the summer," and then he ends up signing a $1 million contract backing up for the Pittsburgh Penguins, that scenario could easily be played out as well for Marc-Andre Fleury.
I thought it was ironic that the Leafs were wearing the hard hats going in.
We had this conversation on Real Kipper and Bourne.
Did you really?
And, I'm not sure.
I don't want to throw dirt on the, kick a man when he's down, but I think they were trying to convince themselves of something. And I'm not saying that to Wayne Simmons.
I'm sure the workers at Stelco felt a lot better about this before the game than they did after the game. Let's put it that way.
Right.